Alrighty, guys. So let's get back to proximity. These are some of the things that you want to think about when choosing land. Proximity, proximity, proximity. When anybody's sharing land with you, ask them to send you the GPS location so that you can search this. Look at these mountains, look at these valleys, look at this, look at that drop off. There's roads that climb these mountains. And so you're now thinking about transportation, you're thinking about building on the side of a mountain. How does that affect your program, your scheduling, your everything, your costs? Is it significant? Is it minimal? Does it play an impact? Absolutely it does. And so these are some of the things that you want to think about when choosing land. Proximity, proximity, proximity. And it goes both ways. It's not just the proximity of materials and purchasing, but again, where are your social places for entertainment? Where's your friends at? And what is your proximity to them? And that's a very, very important thing to think about. I'm going to take a quick break, just a quick little commercial break. What I'm sharing with you right now is some images of some design work that I did for some Adobe homes. This is a more contemporary home, modern lines, very simple but effective. And that's what I really go for in a number of my designs. They're what I call ecological. It's got to make sense. And so that's what these images represent. This is also a neighborhood. You know, again, my goal is to help design and shape communities. And so I want to think about more than just a single house. I want to think about how all these houses come together and form a community. Alrighty, guys. So let's get back to proximity. Again, this is Google Earth Pro. It is a very, very good site that will allow you to do a lot of stuff as far as looking at imagery of different locations. And so let's go ahead and let's go back to the airport. Here we are looking at the airport in Accra. And we're going to just zoom out a little bit first. Now I've highlighted a number of key places with the red markers. Let me turn off the rest of the labels there. Okay, so I highlighted a number of key places. And these key places, again, there's so much opportunity. So you don't have to choose any single place. Now, my focus is rural development. Everything I do is outside of Accra, and it ranges anywhere from, let's say, 45 minutes to as far as I was up in the Volta region for a couple of years, and that was like 4 hours away. So again, it's really dependent. There's no perfect distance. You know, I like to really deal with maybe about 2 hours just because that's a comfortable drive. And that also kind of gets you out to a Kosambo. A lot of these places, you can get to them a little bit faster, but it's traffic and it's infrastructure. So if we really look at the distance, the mileage of where these towns are, you will laugh at how close they are, but yet you'll be surprised at how it takes hours. And that's because of the roads and the infrastructure. A lot of these roads that we take are single lane, dual lane roads, essentially, one in each direction. And then a lot of them too are not in the greatest of condition, and that's because of maintenance. Also, you have to realize, because we are such a developing nation, there's so many heavy duty trucks on the road, and so we're building roads that truly can't support them, in many cases. And so they deteriorate even faster, especially on the countryside. And so that's another challenge that we're faced with. For the diaspora and a number of people who've been returning home, I would say the key places that they've been kind of flocking to besides Accra is, yes, ultimately Abri. Abri is a very popular, trendy area. And then from there, there's people who love the seaside. And if you're a seaside lover and you want the ocean and that fresh air, then they tend to choose either Cape Coast or, as more recently, and this recently is even over the last 10, 15 years, is Prampram. Prampram is another area that is got a nice size population of repatriates there, and a number of people have bought land there. By now, there's probably upwards of about 50 people who have built there, and a number of other who have purchased land, because again, land in Accra is so expensive, and so you need to go to the outskirts, and the people who like the ocean tend to go towards Pram, Cape Coast, Coco Brite, and a number of key places for different reasons. And so if you are a seaside person, those are some of the areas that you're going to want to research, and then you're going to want to look at the little towns in between. If you're really about beaches and clean water, then you're going to want to go more towards the Coco Brite, Central Region, Cape Coast side, as opposed to, say, the Pram side. Or if you do come to Pram side, you need to actually go further towards the Volta to get to the cleaner beaches and water. The downside of Pram, and I've shared this before in a video, is that there's so much trash not only coming from Accra but also coming from the ocean. For me, in this field of design and development, it's an information game. I need you, being, say, a client or a homeowner who's going to work with me, to be fully informed about what we're doing and what we're striving to do, because knowing is half the battle. Once you know what to expect, once you know what we're about to incur on this process, then it's not as shocking, it's not as difficult, because you're familiar, you're prepared.